this is Fred. Fred is a great little dog, but he does not like having his tootsies touched. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of doing some priming work. I have the high value tricky trainers, I'm squishing them like a marshmallow, and I'm letting him chew on it. Now first I just want to get him used to me chewing on it. I'm going to have to go to a lefty for this because for camera angle I want them to see what's going on. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to squish it, I'm going to do it, and I'm just, well, there you go. I'm going to let him start chewing it first. I'm just going to pet him here. He doesn't have a problem with me petting him here. He doesn't like anybody touching his feet. So what we're doing is just getting him used to a human touching while he's having this high value treat delivered. Come here, Fred, let's do that again. Come here, buddy. Sit. There we go. So you see he's kind of stops because he's not used to somebody touching him while he's eating. That's normal. We're doing certain things. We don't want to be touched or bothered. But I want to start off in a place where he doesn't feel any reason to be reactive. There we go. So less of a startle response that time. Fred's like, I do like this. This is easy. So now I'm starting to move a little bit lower. Now I'm basically on his collar line. And he's like, I could care less. Now you're using a lot of treats for this. Come here, Fred. Get a little bit closer. Come here. There you go. Oh, that's a good boy, Fred. Yes. And we see the tail going. He feels good about it. Now I'm below the collar. And this is a very, very progressive process. Where most people get tripped up is they move too far too fast. And so there we go. So now I'm just on his shoulder. Kind of stopped. Here's the treat, Fred. There you go, buddy. So this is a little bit of what we call counter conditioning. Basically, we're replacing one thing for another. Here you go, Fred. It's right here, buddy. I know that crumbs are falling off, but let's get the whole thing. There we go. Now, if he freezes, you're kind of crossing a line or getting close to a line. If that's the case, then that might be an area to stop. Let's do that again. Fred, sit. Now I'm touching the top of his leg. Now it's more the bottom of his feet that he's more reactive to. Is that correct? Okay. So it's going to take us a little bit of time to get there, but eventually, now the second hand, I think he's looking to see if there's a treat attached to it. So I'm now about halfway down his leg. Again, if he freezes, or freezing is probably going to be the sign that you're approaching his line that he's uncomfortable with. If you push past that line, just like us, when we get touched in a place we don't like to be touched, and we tell the person to stop, we're probably going to react a little bit stronger. There we go. Yeah. So see how he kind of went away? We were getting close. The guardian who was filming this, her face just screwed up like he's about to get bit. I'm thinking that's what it was. Was that what it was? Yes, it was. Okay. So again, but because we're providing him these high value treats and we're starting up higher, he's more than willing to be able to allow me to do this. So eventually we're going to get all the way down. As you saw there, I was like on his knuckle. Now Fred's like, yeah, this is awesome. I like it. I get all these good treats, and I get a little bit of a massage. And then eventually we're replacing not liking having my feet touched. Like right now, he'd be normally biting me, right?
He's a licker.
Oh, I thought he was a...
well, it depends if it gets too...
If he gets too much, then he transitions from a lick to a bite. So you saw that, he came closer. He's like, don't stop the cookie train. I like the cookie train. So I'm going to start at the shoulder, and I'm just going to go down. There we go. And now at that time, I was actually kind of going between his fingertips. So this is a gradual process, and what most people do is they move too far too fast, and the dog just goes to bite or just runs away and doesn't want to play this anymore. I just did this yesterday with the dog, or 2 days ago, where the dog doesn't like having his fur brushed out. Do the same thing, and we got the dog used to it first, then we gradually did it. Now when you're doing this, make sure it's very light at first. Now he doesn't like being, having his, what about his ears? Does he have a problem with having his ears done?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Does he know how to shake?
Not on command. I mean, no.
This is a technique I was mentioning to you off the phone, off camera. Oh, good boy. Let's try that again. Let's get it over here so people at home can see that you're shaking. This is not the most exciting footage for it. Come on, oh, there we go. So eventually you can get to the point where he's putting his feet onto us instead of us grabbing his feet. So it'll take a little bit of time, but eventually he'll be like, can I get a mani-pedi? And he'll be very comfortable with it. Now for your vet's office, I would do the same thing because he does not like, he has to be tranquilized when we go to the vet's office, right?
Correct.
So now when we go to the vet, there's a lot of nasty things, or not nasty, but some dogs just don't like it. You're sticking your finger up my butt, you know, you're grabbing my teeth, you're doing all these things that are very invasive, and I don't know who you are. So when I have a puppy, I took my puppy to the vet's office 3 times before he actually went in for a shot. I just went in there, they give him a lot of treats. And so when he goes in there, he's like, this place is awesome. All these people, all these chicks love me. They give me treats. They scratch me behind the ear. And then when the doc comes and does his thing, that's like the aberration. That's the unusual part about the visit. How far away is your vet? Real close?
Yes.
Real close? I would just get in a habit of taking him to your vet every day, having some treats, letting the staff give him, or as often as you can, give him treats, and have them do the same counter conditioning, show them the same video, and have them eventually get lower and lower, where they're just getting to the point where they can touch him by his feet, touch his ears, touch his tail, wherever it is, and he's cool with it. There we go. Now, going from the front to the back, which is what I tried to do there, was a little bit much for him. You're going to have to methodically do this. But I would also do it with his tail, his butt, anything that the doc needs to touch him with, get him used to it. A lot of vet clinics will let you actually go into one of the exam rooms if you go there at a time when nobody's there. That's a great place to practice this because that's where the vet's going to do it. And ask the vet, look at him going to the dog bed, looking for the beach, or something we just worked on off camera. So ask the doc where he's going to be touched, and then kind of do the same counter conditioning technique. Maybe one of you is giving the treat, the other one's you doing it, and it's your primary guardians who's doing it, so the dog is going to feel much more comfortable about doing this than some outsider. He's got cold hands, he smells like alcohol, he's not drinking, but alcohol from the hands, and so it's just like, I don't know you, you have to date me before you touch me in all these places. Eventually he won't care because we're associating the activity with the location that's going to happen, and we're kind of doing it in a dry run or in a practice environment while we're counter conditioning him. We're desensitizing him of it, and we're also providing a replacement behavior or a replacement activity, right? All right, well this is how you can use counter conditioning to stop your dog from reacting to things that normally it does not like you doing.